Join us tonight at 6 for a rundown of today's top stories focusing on true bugs and their relatives. Apparently, they suck.
What?
That's what the teleprompter says. Welcome to BUGS at 6. I'm Veronica King.
And I'm Jenny Baker. Tonight's broadcast is about insects in the order Hemiptera.
A little terminology. Hemi means half, and ptera means wings. So these are the half wings. Think hemisphere, which is half of the Earth. This order name comes from the distinctive half-membranous forewing structure called Hemiptera on some of these insects.
You may have noticed that Veronica said some of these insects. That's because we're going to break this order down into its 3 suborders.
Order breakdown!
Suborder Sternorhyncha, aphids, whiteflies, and scale bugs. Suborder Auchenorhyncha, cicadas, hoppers, and spittlebugs. Suborder Heteroptera, true bugs.
Now, people throw the term bug around a lot when they're talking about anything that could remotely qualify as creepy or crawly with an exoskeleton.
And colloquial terms are fantastic. We use them too. But entomologists know that the word bug actually refers to a very specific group of insects, those in the suborder Heteroptera.
Now, this is a big, diverse order with lots of interesting morphologies, so let's take a closer look. There's only one unifying morphological characteristic for this order. All insects in the order Hemiptera have a piercing, sucking mouthpart known as a rostrum or a beak. All winged hemipterans have 2 pairs of wings. The mouthparts and wings are important to consider when identifying these insects against other orders, like the beetles.
It's time for a side-by-side.
Side-by-side!
If you have an insect and you can't tell if it's a beetle or a bug, just look at the mouthparts. Bugs have beaks and beetles have chewing mouthparts. Bugs in the suborder Heteroptera have wings with a hemiptera. This is where the first half of the forewings is thickened and the bottom half is membranous. Because of the hemiptera, it looks like there's a triangle and an X on their back. Beetles have a straight line down their backs.
To help us differentiate between the suborders, we go now to our in-house entomologists.
Christy, Jessica, are you there?
One of the ways that you guys can differentiate between the suborders of Hemiptera is looking where the rostrum starts on the head. In Heteroptera, the rostrum starts at the front of the head. I like to think of it as the forehead of the bug. In Auchenorhyncha, it starts at the bottom of the head. I like to think of it like the chin. In Sternorhyncha, it looks like it originates in between the prococci on the front legs on the thorax, but it is actually connected to the head. There are about 60,000 different species found around the world, around 13,000 here in North America, and you can find hemipterans in just about any kind of habitat. As I understand it, there's a crazy diversity of form. What are a few of your favorites?
My favorites are the aphids. I studied them for my master's research and I just love their squishy little bodies. They have these 2 structures on the end of their abdomens called cornicles, and they excrete a waxy substance from that keeps their bodies from drying out. They are so adorable. Tropical peanut bugs are my favorite. They've got these great bulbous heads that look like peanuts. This Central American specimen is truly incredible. It's also called an alligator-headed bug. It's because it looks like a young alligator, complete with teeth marks and everything. Within the Heteroptera, you have plant feeders and you have predators. Insects like stink bugs feed on plant sap, and they can be major agricultural pests. Insects like assassin bugs are predators, and they jam their rostrum into their prey and suck out the juices. Most in this suborder are terrestrial, but there are some that are aquatic. All of the insects of this suborder are terrestrial, and it says here that all of them are phytophagous. Christy and Jess, what does that mean?
Phytophagous is a fancy name for any insect that is a plant feeder. Now, this group includes some incredible jumping insects like the tree hoppers, the frog hoppers, the plant hoppers, and the leaf hoppers. Now, we're gonna get in major trouble from some of our ento friends if we don't mention the tree hoppers and their incredible pronodal structures. Some of them look exactly like thorns, while others look like bizarro aliens from another world.
Cicadas are also in this group, and cicadas have this special ability to make really intense sounds through structures called tymbals, and these are basically ribbed muscles in their abdomen. Each species has a different call, and some can be as loud as 120 decibels.
To put that in perspective for you, that's like a jet engine taking off. Insects in this suborder, like aphids, whiteflies, and scales, have one thing in common: squishitude.
What?
That's what the teleprompter says. It says squishitude. Who wrote this?
While we get that sorted out, let's go for a check of today's weather with Susie Nimbus. How's it looking out there, Susie?
Hi, Jenny. It's warm and the sun is shining. It's the perfect weather to find aphids in your garden. These insects drain the sunshine right out of your vegetables, flowers, and trees by drinking the sap found in phloem cells. Aphids create a secretion that's sugary and sweet called honeydew. It's basically aphid pee. Have you guys ever been outside and there's not a cloud in the sky and suddenly it feels like it's drizzling? Yes! That's aphid honeydew, you guys. Now, since these insects can reproduce by both sexual and asexual reproduction, their population sizes can grow to devastating numbers in a short amount of time, especially when it's warm. You could say that today is warm, with a chance of honeydew.
Thanks, Susie.
And now let's take a look at our community calendar. This weekend, the high school drama club is putting on their play, Totally Buggin'. Here's a sneak preview. Female giant water bugs have it good. A male signals that he wants to mate by doing push-ups in the water. After mating, the female will lay her eggs on the male's back, and she's done. This is a rare case of paternal care in the insect world. In order for his genes to be passed on, he must care for the eggs by stroking them and making sure there's sufficient water flow to ensure their oxygenation. He cares for the eggs until they hatch.
Bye, you guys. You have a safe life, okay? You tuck in those wings. Tuck them in, okay? Daddy loves you. I love you. Okay, bye. Go. I just got a little something in my eye, it's all. Turn off the camera, okay? Just turn it off.
And now for a look at sports, we're gonna toss it over to Agnes.
Go long. Oh, it's an incomplete metamorphosis, that is. Hemipterans go through simple, gradual metamorphosis. Eggs hatch into nymphs, which resemble the adults. They get bigger with each molt until they reach sexual maturity.
In our new segment called Tweet Beat, we invite questions from viewers via Twitter. @MomInTheGarden has a question for you, Christy and Jess. She asks, do these insects have any negative impacts on humans?
Many of the insects of this order are horrible plant pests. Because they drain the nutrients and the liquids from the plants wilt and have to work harder to create seeds and fruit. Hemipterans can also transmit all kinds of pathogens, like mosaic viruses, which can wipe out entire crops.
There are two insects in the suborder Heteroptera that impact us because they are blood feeders. One is the kissing bug that transmits Chagas disease. It's called a kissing bug because it's attracted to carbon dioxide and it bites people right around the lips. It defecates as it bites, so when people feel the pain of the bite, they often reach up and rub the feces into the wound. Chagas is really dangerous because you can be asymptomatic for decades, and by the time symptoms appear, it's often too late. The number of cases in the US, especially Texas, has been rising for years.
And let's not forget about bedbugs.
Bedbugs have been in the news a lot lately because it seems like they're everywhere. Fancy hotels, hostels, laundromats, couches, homes.
And even though bedbugs have not been shown to transmit any diseases, they're still a total nuisance pest and they are hard to get rid of. And how can students collect these insects? Let's say if they're in a course where they're required to do so.
To collect these insects, we like to grab a net and sweep through tall grasses and weeds.
Another great place to look is in backyard gardens. Check on the broccoli and the kale, just turn over the leaves and chances are you're going to find yourself a lot of aphids. And finally, to our entertainment and lifestyle correspondents.
Sky and Candace, do you have anything you can share with us about the mythology and culture of these little suckers?
We do. In ancient China, when a person died, a jade cicada was placed on their tongue. Cicadas are seen as a sign of rebirth and possibility for reincarnation because of their unique life cycle. And cochineal bugs are used as a natural dye for textiles and food. All right, get it out of your system. We get it.
Here in the Western world, there's a real negative association with eating insects. We've been taught that it's dirty and gross. But cultures all over the world have been eating insects for thousands of years. There are even some celebrities who eat insects. Hola, Salma Hayek!
The cochineal scale insect feeds on cactus. Their bodies contain carminic acid, which is used to create red carmine dyes. It's been used in everything from candies to juices to impart a beautiful red color.
Cheers!
Well, that's all for this edition of News at 6.
From all of us here at BUGS, we bid you good night. Sleep tight and don't let the bedbugs bite.